Have you ever felt like you're putting in all this work, planting all these seeds in your life, but you're just not seeing the results you hoped for? Well, today we're going to dig into this really powerful metaphor that might just change how you see everything. It's the idea of your life as a garden, and why the season you're in right now is so critical.
It all starts with this simple, ancient African proverb. And yeah, on the surface, it's about farming, right? You work the land, you get food. You don't, you starve. But just let that idea sit for a second, because the real wisdom here has nothing to do with soil and seeds.
What if this isn't about some plot of land outside? What if the garden is you, the one you cultivate inside your own head, your values, your habits, the core of who you are? That's the garden we're talking about today, your garden.
All right, so first, we have to get our heads around this central idea. Your true self, your character, is a garden that you are always tending to, whether you know it or not.
You know, we get these two things mixed up all the time, reputation and character. But there's a huge difference. Thomas Paine put it perfectly. Your reputation, that's the performance. That's your job title, your social media profile, what you want people to see. But your character? That's the garden. That's who you are when the lights are off and nobody's watching.
There's a great story about the football coach Tony Dungy. His mentor, Chuck Noll, told him this: "We live in a world that's constantly asking, so what do you do? But that's not who you are." This idea completely flips that on its head. Your work, your career, that should be the overflow of who you already are. It's the fruit from a garden you've already been tending, not the garden itself.
Okay, so tending this garden isn't a passive thing. It takes work. It means you have to make choices. And the thing is, every single time you say yes to something, you're also saying no to something else. Let's get into that. I absolutely love this. Get this, the root of the word decide literally comes from the Latin word that means to cut off. So every time you truly make a decision, what you're actually doing is taking a blade and cutting away every other option. It's not a casual thing. It's final. It's powerful.
And this is where the real cost of our choices comes in. As the author James Clear talks about, saying yes to the wrong thing isn't just about the time you waste on it. The real cost is the automatic no you just gave to something amazing that could have grown in that same spot. It's a whole patch of your garden left to die on the vine because your attention was somewhere else.
You know, we like to think life is kind of like Legos. If we don't like something, we can just take it apart, put the pieces back in the box, and start over. No big deal. But life isn't like that. The book This Is Strategy makes a brilliant point. Our choices change us. Taking things apart actually deforms the pieces. We can never go back to being the person we were before that decision. They're irreversible.
So you can see how all of these different threads are starting to weave together, right? Cultivating that inner garden, knowing that every yes is a no. It's all pointing to this one central truth. You have to be intentional. You have to consciously and deliberately build the person you want to be.
Of course, no garden is safe from bad weather. Or weeds. It's just part of the deal. So, what do we do when life's inevitable storms roll in? How do we handle it? Let me tell you a quick story about a guy named Oz Hillman. He was crushing it in a golf tournament, about to win. Then, he gets a call. He forgot to sign his scorecard. Boom. Automatic disqualification. Can you imagine? He had to drive 3 hours home with absolutely nothing to show for it but this one stupid mistake. Just gut-wrenching. But it's what he did in the car that's so important. He didn't just pretend it didn't hurt, but he also didn't let it destroy him. He used this framework. First, you acknowledge the blow. You let yourself feel it. Second, you reorient to what's actually true and what lasts. And third, you entrust what you can't control to something bigger than you. It's a playbook for any setback, big or small.
And that's exactly why these tests matter so much. Isabel Allende says it beautifully. These challenges, they're not just roadblocks. They are the training ground for our character. The test isn't the enemy. The test is what reveals the strength you never even knew you had in you.
Now, besides the storms that happen to us, there's the weather we create ourselves. Ryan Holiday puts it so well. Your energy is the weather you bring into a room. It affects everyone around you. You are broadcasting a signal, a mood, whether you mean to or not.
So, how do you actually get better at creating good weather? Well, the book, The Magic of Thinking Big, gives us 3 really concrete steps. 1. Build castles, don't dig graves. Focus your mental energy on positive outcomes. 2. Use language that paints a positive picture. And 3. Train yourself to see what could be, not just what's right in front of you.
This isn't just fluffy positive thinking, it's an actual strategy.
And that brings us to our final and maybe the most urgent idea of all. A garden has a season. You can't harvest in the middle of winter. And in our lives, some windows of opportunity, they just don't stay open forever.
I want you to really think about this question from the author Bill Perkins. Which version of you has an expiration date? The you that can backpack through Asia? The you that has little kids who actually want to hang out with you? The you that has the energy to start a company from scratch? That version of you is temporary. Every season of our lives has an end date. And here's what happens if we don't act. Perkins says it's like you're exchanging your literal life energy, your time, for money. But then you never cash in that money for the experiences that are only available to you right now. You've lost something you can never, ever get back. The point isn't that you won't miss some windows. We all do. The question is, are you missing them on purpose or by accident?
I love these 3 words from the poet Octavio Paz. It's both a challenge and a permission slip. Deserve your dream. It means do the work, tend the garden, make those tough cut-off decisions, and then act. You've earned it. Go! Step through that window while it's still open.
But hey, this whole thing isn't meant to be a solo mission. Another great African proverb reminds us that while tending the garden, that deep character work is something you do alone, the harvest is meant to be shared. The whole point of a bountiful garden is to share it with the people you love.
So when you pull it all together, all these ideas boil down to one essential truth. Your inner world and your outer world are not 2 separate things. They're deeply connected. What you cultivate in private, in the garden of your character, is eventually going to bloom in public for everyone to see.
So we'll leave you with this. This whole metaphor, it's not just a nice little story. The garden is real. The season you're in this very moment is passing by, and it's the only one you've got. The only question left is how are you going to tend to it?